There we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Tuesday, which today is the art of letting go. Are you tired of living the same year over and over again? Such a big topic, isn't it, Lori? I'm Mia Sines, and this is Lori
Yeah.
Montry.
Yeah. I mean, wow. We could take this particular topic and have probably 10 different sub topics. It could be letting go of grief. It could be letting go of old stories. It could be letting go of, so many
Yeah.
different things. And we chose kind of the subheading of, are you tired of living the same year? Right? Because this is about the time where people start to reflect and they say, oh, wow. It's the first month of this year is almost over. Of the 12 in this year, the first one's almost over. I came into the month very often with some big ideas about how this is going to be different, how things, how it was going to show up. And here we are a month in and a lot of people are feeling like, yeah, nothing is changing. I'm not doing anything to really create
Mhm.
that change. I don't know how or whatever. So we wanted to bring this
We know
topic.
how, we know how.
Yeah, right. And we also know what it's like to feel that way and to say it's
Absolutely.
absolutely okay to feel that way. In fact, it is step one or maybe step 17 on the way to actually experiencing that different year, because we have to get to this point. But instead of this point feeling like, oh no, I'm not creating all of that change, I'm not living that changed life, instead of the oh no judgment behind it, okay, this is where I am. I love that I have this energy inside me talking to me this way, telling me, hey, there's something more. There's something more, right? And
Yeah.
that just, I wanted to, as people were coming on today, and I know that as we're posting the videos and I see, 20 views, 30 views, etc. I want to say like how inspirational all of you are and how incredibly impressed we are, especially and this is not to say that anybody who just watches a video here and there, maybe a couple a year, whatever, that's awesome too. But we are seeing a lot of people and getting some feedback from people who are like actually showing up in this space, and really paying attention, getting what they can get. And we find that to be admirable and delicious and fantastic. So thank you for doing that, because you make the world a better place, and you make our mission in life, right, more and more possible. So thank you for being live, for watching the replays, for thinking about these things and being the kind of people who are interested in growth, interested in how you're gonna really capture and start living the life that is for you.
So it's you and I wanted to create a community as
Mhm, mhm.
big as wanted to come, right? And
Yep,
so
yep, yep.
that is absolutely one way about letting go of your past is by joining a community and getting your support that you need.
Yeah.
Nobody can get through this without finding some support. And when I say people have heard my story from being in the wheelchair and being on death's door when the doctor said you have less than 2 years to live, I didn't have anyone to talk to. Um,
Mhm.
I went within, but then as soon as I got a few answers, I went without and found the support I needed. Even somebody, and I'm saying that even somebody that has transformation, as easy as it may seem to me, I struggle with it too. And I have to have support. So
Yeah.
this community is about you guys and growing. So letting go, what does that look like? I hear a lot, and we're going to get into also the
And
emotional
Mia, can
intelligent work.
before I just want to add on to what you just said, when we think about why that's true, it's like when we're inward or when we're, trying to figure things out on our own, we're doing it with the same mindset that created the situation that we're in or
Right.
created the reality that we're in. And those thoughts are constantly just being recycled and reused in different ways. And so we're literally just trying to make a different soup with the same ingredients, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
being part of a community is like, okay, I want a different soup. Having my community and having the support and hearing those things and just being a part of that allows me, those are the new ingredients so that I
Right.
can
It makes it a
create.
richer broth, a richer Consistency. Beautiful.
right? I want something different. I have to let something a little bit different in. That doesn't mean to ignore, right? Because we teach first and foremost the foundational principle of everything is you have to know yourself. You have to connect with yourself. You have to be in that kind of relationship with yourself. But right, sometimes we need some fresh perspective, some new ingredients. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And that's one thing that proudly I can share, and you do too, is that together we have a plethora, and we also have an external resource group of, I probably have contact with, I could reach out to 200 or 300 coaches and get a response back because they either follow my work or intimately I've worked with them or I've coached them. So it's about building relationships. So this is a one-stop shopping place. But anyways, getting back to letting go.
Letting go.
I love how you brought in that we regurgitate our stuff, right? We do it in many different forms. It may transform into looking different, but until it's gone, it's you haven't let go of it.
Yeah.
And that was one of my things was, and I want to just talk about trauma and then we can talk about other stuff, but
Okay.
the sense of trauma or things that you want to heal, your body, your stories, all of it. The part about letting go that I jump into at this space, like it's the most powerful thing, is you got to let go. And it's almost like, but wait a minute, Mia, you just double talked yourself. Yeah, you got to let go. What does that look like? How can you do it? If you're going to rehearse your stuff and regurgitate it all over, why don't you spend a weekend? You're probably not going to work on it the whole time, but you're going to be resting. You're going to be nurturing yourself. You're going to be showering, bathing, making yourself feel good. But take time on that story and dig in so that you're not just spreading the stuff all over. You're actually jumping in to cut the cords at the very bottom. And that's something that we also teach here. This work does that, but try it on your own. Jump in there to whatever ails you the most that you can't let go of, whatever belief system, and work it yourself. We suggest that you do a lot of journaling, a lot of conversation. You may feel like a crazy person with yourself, but talk out loud. Get into your own junk so that you can then disperse it out into the nothingness that it is. Because until, we're also going to talk about other stuff, but until you can actually look at your stuff, you don't know who you are until you know who you are. We're going to keep saying that over and over and over again. You may be somebody who appears to put their stuff all over people, but that's not who you are. You're an amazing, dynamic individual that humanity has taught you or hurt you so that this is what you do. And it's okay, but now that you know different, jump on your own healing space or your own shifting, your own transformation. What would you like to add to that, Lori? Because I love the way that, and I also got several talks recently or messages that people like the way we interact with each other. So I forgot to tell you that.
Well, we recognized it as something really special, and so I'm not surprised that comes through. We do have a special chemistry and love for ourselves, for each other, and for the community and the people that you know, that find their way to us. And that's probably one of my favorite things about you, is that your heart is just so loving and beautiful. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But so, you know, what you said is we have to know our stuff, because people will say, you know, I really want to let go. And we know that they have the passionate intent to do so. If they don't want to stay stuck, nobody wants that. And so the desire is there, but then people don't really know how to go about it. And actually, it's something that I find it looks just a little bit different for every single person, right? Because every stage of the way, every step in the process is going to be a little bit different. So there's no one size fits all. Do this, number one, right? Number two. It isn't quite like that, but we're very practical, and we know, and we always want to reward people for showing up and give like the actual something that you can do to at least start this process and open yourself up to it. It is something that, the Academy is built around letting go of the old and embracing the new. Truly coming into your greatest self and then living life that way is the goal, right? It's the overarching principle, what the Academy that we run and teach in is all about. And so understand that that's spans 12 modules. So what we're going to give you today is a little bit of perspective around this topic of letting go, and then some actual practical steps that you can start to take to, be in that process. And then remember, we always tell you, as you're working through this process, implementing the things that you hear and are trying for yourself, we're here to support you. Come with your questions so that we can make sure that this is fruitful for you. So like Mia said, it's awareness first and foremost, right? What do I need to let go of? Right? I find so often that people are in such a hurry, and I get that, such a hurry to say, I need to let that go. I need to be something different, right? And the problem is, I don't know what it is that I'm working to change. I don't know what it is that I'm working to become. All I know is I don't like where I am right now, right? And that's not a recipe for true transformation. That's a recipe for frustration, right? We need these grounding points. Here's my current story. Here's what I want to let go of. Here's my truth, right? And being willing to actually look at it and not just say, I had bad experiences, or I have these limiting beliefs, I got to get rid of them, but to really understand what they are, where they came from. That's how you develop compassion for yourself, so that you can take that compassion with you along the way on the journey. And then the other piece over here, who do you really know yourself to be? I don't say, who do you want to become? Because it's not about becoming, it's about returning to your truth, about coming back to who you really are. And so a lot of times we have the sense like, oh, I wish I was this. No, that's exactly who you already are. And we know it because it wouldn't be on your heart. You wouldn't want it. It wouldn't resonate with you unless it was your truth. So when you're thinking about what you want life to look like, what you want your new story, how do I want to live from this new story? I want to be confident. I want this incredible relationship. I want, this career where I feel like I'm helping people every day, or where I feel like I'm creating or accomplish whatever it is. And, we could go, there's billions of things. I'm just throwing those things out there. They do not have to be yours. But if we start from the awareness of what are the stories that I'm operating from right now, and of course, those are not truths, right? And what is the truth that I want to live into more and more and more as a starting point, right? And then, so much of letting go has to do with both the mind and body. Most people tend to think of it as mostly the mind, right? I want to think differently, so I should just shut that stuff down and, operate from this instead. And what we don't realize is in something that we teach and talk a lot about in the Academy, is that that's not possible unless you're have a felt sense of safety in embracing the new. So if your nervous system is one that has been affected by a lot of either trauma, accumulated stress, just the stress of being human in the world. And so I say, if you are someone, that's everyone, right? We don't live in this world without our nervous systems being affected by being human. So to the extent that you have a nervous system that, is a little bit on guard, wanting to protect you, feeling hypervigilant, or kind of shut down in order to protect, you're not going to be able to embrace something new. That's not a possibility when your nervous system is really activated. And so trying and banging your head against the wall, like I'm doing all these things, I'm showing up to this, I'm journaling on blah blah blah, if your body is holding on to a sense of being unsafe, you are not going to be able to change. And part of that is, when we think about the process of change, the neurological process of change, what we're doing is right now, your old story has been thought and followed and given energy for years or decades or your whole lifetime. And so it is like your old story is like this nice big fiber optic network, right? Every time you thought that thought, you laid down a new wire, and those wires fuse together, and they are so powerful at this point. A thought gets on that and it just goes, it's gone. There's no friction, there's no nothing. It's so easy. In your news story over here, because it hasn't been cultivated, because you haven't lived from it and had experiences and really had those thoughts day after day, we have to build this if you want to live from it. So every time you're engaging in your news story, you're laying down another fiber in this new fiber optic network, right? And this is actually in our brains, neurons fire and wire together. So this is like a really good example of what's actually happening physically, the structures in your brain. So we can think of it that way. So a lot of people will be like, I've got a hold of this new story that I want to live. And I just keep thinking the old stuff, and I can't make it stick or whatever. But we have to appreciate what's actually happening. We're building a new network, wire by wire. So every time you show up just a little differently, you laid down a wire. Every time you spend some time with your carefully cultivated affirmations for yourself, you laid down another wire. And you have to build that wire. And so if it doesn't happen really quickly, a lot of people will give up. A lot of people will not understand that change is going to happen, but there's ways to make it go faster that we teach in the academy. And there's also the patience that has to come along with it, and the acknowledging along the way, I did that a little bit differently. That's amazing progress, as opposed to, I didn't do it perfectly yet. I did, so really thinking about and understanding this process of letting go involves, right, creating a new neurological network. The other thing, as I was saying with the body, right, if you're not safe, you can't lay down those wires. It doesn't build, it doesn't form. And that's because the part of your brain that's responsible for creating this new neurological network is not accessible when your nervous system is in high activation. So you could be doing the things and not reaping any of the benefit if your nervous system is not in the space and where you're operating from a felt sense of safety. And this is I don't want to say it's the best kept secret, because we're not trying to keep it a secret. It's just people haven't gone to that level where they're combining the mind and body when talking about transformation. We're seeing it more, and I bet you are too, out there in the world. You're probably seeing people discuss more things with the nervous system. That's why we started years ago to really make sure to incorporate all of this into our work. And that's why I have a number of certifications in the nervous system and somatic practitioner. So it's something that we need to really appreciate about this process of letting go. We have to create that felt sense of safety before we can do that. So I'll just say one word about how to create that, and then Mia, if you could tie us together as far as, okay, awareness of my old story. Here's my new story. Do I have the sense of safety that I need to create that? And also the patience to go through the process of building a new fiber optic network. So with the body, being in and just being open to the body and noticing when you're exploring the old story and stuff, what's happening in your body. This is such a powerful way to understand a little bit and to process old things. So as you're exploring your old stories and where they came from, really noticing what's happening in your body. A lot of people say, I have tension. I just realized, when I'm paying attention, I noticed I had all this tension. Maybe you're having tension in your jaw. Maybe you're feeling constraint in your heart, shoulders, or a pit in your stomach, or nervousness in your stomach, which or in your chakras. So just noticing that, and that is where the unsafety lies, right? So using some practices, and this is pretty intuitive. So even without all the tools, and we have a whole library of somatic tools that we have in the academy, but even just tuning in and saying, wow, I noticed my jaw is really tight, which often is reflective of people who've had a lot of experiences where they weren't allowed to speak their truth. They weren't allowed to, to honor what was going on for them. They just had to be quiet. So something as simple as, we're just really taking your face in your hands and giving that support and loving attention to the part of your body or your tummy, hugging a pillow tight, putting your hands there and just letting that feeling, whatever it is, insecurity or, frustration, whatever it is, just kind of soften a little bit and actually feeling it and letting it pass through you. These are all really important aspects of being able to let go of old stories so that you can connect more to new stories. So with that in mind, Mia, anything to say about, the tools of the awareness and the new story and bringing it together for us?
Well, I want to say one thing that just I think is really important, and you hit on it with the rewiring. This is the perfect system for everybody as we're aging. Do you know why? Because we're building new neurons, new pathways. We're building new brain. There was a time in 2009 when I was incompetent. My frontal lobe was burnt out. They said it would never come back. I rebuilt it, apparently. And so,
Right?
yeah, so I want you guys to understand that you're rebuilding. This is your aging. You're getting more alert this way. Alzheimer's and the other stuff will be diminished when you work on yourself because you're shifting and building. So getting back to
The body, Mia, as you're saying, the body, a lot of our systems shut down and we start to have problems with it because we're not using them.
right.
So the body's like, oh, okay, we don't need this anymore. I'll divert energy over here. But when we're using stuff, the body's like, oh, we still need this. Okay,
Yes.
stay sharp.
And it doesn't die, and it doesn't die away, the brain.
Right. I
Yeah.
love that.
So I just wanted to share that because coming through chemo this summer, I worked on things to continue to build my brain, and I'm back now. Apparently, the last couple of weeks, you and I both been going, wow, look at Mia, she's really lit up. So it's about connection with yourself and continuing to build. So the old story, you have to have the awareness, right? And then as you work through and through all the systems that we teach you about understanding who you are. We put you through different questions so that you understand where you feel most comfortable in yourself. The more you know about yourself, the more magical your life experience will be, because not just because your synapses are going on fire, but because you're changing your emotional state of being, and you're learning how to not only heal the emotional, which is the mental state, but the physical body as well. It's not a mistake that there are hundreds of books out now, and one of the most famous one is The Body Keeps the Score. There's another medical intuitive book that I'm going to get and study, and it's simply, if you're feeling this emotion, it's lying in this part of your body. So we all want to know about this stuff. So change at whatever level you are and grow to whatever capacity you want. I can guarantee you, one of my things when I was a child being a metaphysician, I was afraid, well, what happens if I grow too much? Will I ascend off this planet? And I didn't want to go off the planet. And so no, we don't. I'm still here. I'm still daily focusing on my work and stuff. And then there's other days that it's not quite so intense. But you will be expanded to greatness within your own life, your own being, your own expression. And also thinking about aging, ladies and gentlemen on the replay, this is about meeting and healing your soul purpose as well, besides having a comfortable life with yourself and the world and connections and love, but dealing with your soul purpose, why you came here, so that, as I say, you don't have to be recycled to come back to relive your experience, to heal it. Ask yourself all these questions. Why do you want to grow? Think about your body, think about your mind, think about your spirit, and let that passion about creation for you ignite you so much that you're willing, part of it is willing to let go of the old so that you can grow into the magnificence of who you are. I am a spiritual teacher, so I go from that framework, but it is the truth how I see you. And I would love you to just spend 5 minutes of being in that space where you can see your own magnificence and then ask yourself, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah. And don't wait to feel that way before taking action.
Right.
And I think that that is something that trips a lot of people up. Well, I didn't feel that way. I'm waiting for that, feeling to guide me or to push
Bring
me.
it in.
Sometimes we have to go first, and then the feeling comes in, and then we can build. And so it's not always waiting for you to feel that way. Well, I can't act confident until I feel confident, kind of thing, or
That's why when we
whatever it is.
open, that's why when we opened this, I said spend a weekend, plan
Yeah,
2
exactly.
days that you can have for yourself to choose something to look at. Because if you keep pushing it away like you've done your whole life, how are you to bring it forward? And so you're just seeping out the garbage rather than looking at it and saying, I'm getting rid of you. I no longer need
Right.
you. You're
Yeah.
not part of my life, my story.
Yeah, one of my favorite teachers, Michael Singer, he talks about, if a food made you sick, you wouldn't just keep eating it day after day, like, oh, this is terrible, this is making me so sick, right? But that's what we do with thoughts. We're like, oh, this thought, but we keep ingesting
Entertaining
more
it.
and more and more of it. And so what you're saying, and what I love, is that we have to eat clean food, meaning we have to spend time creating those new thoughts and those new stories. And so sometimes that requires us to set aside a time, because it's not going to come naturally, right? If you're just walking around your life reacting and doing the things, putting out the fires that you have to every day, your brain is just going to be on autopilot. It's going to be following that easy, big fat fiber optic network that's already there. So if you want to be building, you need a space, you need time, you need energy, you need capacity to do that. So I love the idea of, periodically setting aside time where it's like, I'm going to be my truth in this, and start with 5 minutes, like Mia said. If you can't figure out how to put together longer time, but start somewhere where you're really just, how would I be different? What would I wear different clothes? Would I talk in a different, tone? Would I speak up more loudly? Like, sometimes you see people and they'll be at a restaurant and they'll like, can I please have, and if they feel bad for asking and inconveniencing the waiter and the cook, even though that's what they're there for, and they're happy that they're there, so really thinking about, and I'm just going back to confidence as an example, because it's one of many, many. How would my confident self, the truth of who I am, show up? I would say, hello, how are you today? I'm really in the mood for some, fill in the blank. So, and could I have the dressing on the side, and whatever, just be that person, even if you're not feeling like that inside, and start to build those little tiny experiences, 5 minutes, an ordering experience, whatever it is, but you got to show up new.
And I also said, and take a weekend.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the reason I want to share this with you, we're all different. And
Yeah.
that's why I say, okay, if more than 5 minutes frightens you, take 5 minutes for you. Because we as humans have only given ourselves so much attention and so much love that, can you imagine me telling you this now and you saying, wow, I only love myself for 5 minutes? So think about that. I'm also reminded of the most passionate warrior that I've ever seen do healing work. I'm going to cry. She blows me out of the water because if she has to, she'll literally go in her own closet and write and clear. This is Lori I'm talking about. I have never met anyone who actually does
Stubborn.
who does the work the way that she does. So I can now say, you can take a weekend.
Yeah.
I don't care. She's got 6 kids. I don't care what you got going on. I've seen it done with 6 kids, a heart broken, and still managing to do her own work because she had people help her when she needed. She asked for help.
Yeah.
You got to think about yourself, everyone, and where you are in your journey. Now that if you are above 40, this is time to start rocking and rolling. We've got people in the academy that are below 40, they're in their 20s that are rocking and rolling. Don't let your life go by. Take the time, be your own warrior.
Yeah.
And with that, is there any questions? Because we're going to say goodbye then.
Can I ask one thing?
Yes.
So, with this letting go, I'm working on. I was healthy at some points in my life, but I've been unhealthy for a long period of time. And I was put photos up around my house of when I was healthy, trying to remember how I was when I was healthy and the life I lived when I was healthy. But I'm kind of coming to realize that, and you're teaching me that I have to spark my imagination and spark my creativity to manifest who would I be without all this pain? Who would I be without all this sickness? You know, and it's like you feel like you're an onion, and if you pull away all the pain, there's nothing going to be left, because you're like, who am I without all these memories? Who am I without all this?
I'm glad you said that, because that's the number one thought I had when I jumped on this journey. As it dissipates out, as you go through the mirror work and heal your stuff, your shadows, so that you can do the other deeper work that we teach as well. You are, as one thing goes that's not you, the truth, the authenticness gets to come up and be. It's already there waiting. It's been suppressed. So the deeper you get to the juicy, sweet center, the truth of who you are is there. So each time you pull a layer off of the onion, you get a sweeter layer or a more sour, whatever the onion is. But the beauty is at the center, and that's who you are. So it's like a slow leak, but you know that your car is not going to go flat, because you're going to get to the gas station and you're going to fill it back up again. So as it dissipates out, you're regenerating who you actually are, what you actually want in life. You're never empty.
It really helps with the coaching, because it's like I've created a vacuum when I'm getting rid of this old thought and this old belief system. And then you're holding the vision for me for the truth of who I am as my coach, and saying, this is who I see you as and who you can be. And I'm like looking through your eyes at myself and saying, who would that be? When sometimes you can't see it for yourself in the beginning.
Right. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say, you don't need to know all of it, right? You don't need to have the full picture. All you need to know is, this feels good. This feels right. This feels like me. Okay. I'm going to take that. I'm going to claim that for myself, because I can tell that that's a part of me, right? And it's scary. It's walking through a door that says the unknown. And you're like, what's behind that door? I don't know. I'm going to stay right here, because this feels, at least I'm not being eaten, right? There could be a tiger on the other side of that door. There could be anything. And so we all feel that sense of, ooh, and our brains are wired that way. Our brains are wired to just, if we're surviving, doing what we're doing, the brain says, just keep doing this. Who cares what's on the other side of the door there? We don't need to know that. And that's also a function when your nervous system is activated, and you're not feeling safe. You're a lot more scared of what's on the other side of the door than when you have that calm, regulated nervous system. So, that just mentioning again how important that is in the aspect, but knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have to have the whole picture of who I'm becoming, who I'm returning to. I just have to have the one thing that I can navigate today. How would the new me that I'm becoming, how would she do lunch? That's all. How does she brush her teeth? How does she, want to feel or navigate? That's all I need for today because it's unfolding.
Yeah, like today I missed the beginning because I was getting my driver's license renewed, and I haven't put makeup on in 2 years. And I was like, I don't even know what I look like with makeup anymore because I haven't even tried to put it on for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope I look good in my picture. But it's just what resonated with me too was I started redoing the models, and I mentioned it yesterday. You talked about calm aliveness,
Mm-hmm.
both being peaceful and calm and harmonious, but also excitement and joy and
Yeah.
fulfillment. And so now I'm seeing it. Well, this is an adventure. It's like an adventure you're going on to finding the
Yeah.
best version of yourself.
Exactly. We couldn't say it better, right, Mia? That's what the Academy is. It's going on an adventure to find the best version of yourself. And when you see it with that lightness, you're not broken. We're not here to fix you, right? And you shouldn't think that either. You're on an adventure to discover the greatest version of who you are. That's exactly
When
it.
you have the most magnificent night and everything is gone. I had one recently. On Thursday, a girlfriend and I stayed at a hotel. I put out little tiny tea lights. We made dinner. We had 2 separate rooms. It was incredible. She walks in and she cries because it was so beautiful. So if you had the most magnificent night, you wouldn't be dragging around your past. That's my point. You're
Yeah.
willing to let it go. So as you heal things on your body, mind, or spirit, you want to let them go because you can connect to, you can feel the essence of the greatness and what's coming next. So that's what you want to continue to focus on, not on the garbage that you need to let go. Jump into the
Right, right,
magnificence
right.
of the fairy lights or whatever,
Of whatever,
Yeah.
exactly. Whatever your, the greatest you, which is trying to get out, is telling you. If that version of you says, "Oh, today I wish I could," whatever, follow that, respect that, honor that. And that's how we make it grow and become more tangible. Yeah, so beautiful. And we have to just remember whatever we're focusing on, right, we're going to get more of. So if we're focused on, oh, this is bad, gotta let this go, I don't like this, oh, this was me, and how do I get rid of it? Well, where's all your energy? It's all in the stuff that you don't want, right? There has to be, once you become aware, once you understand and you're ready to move through, then the focus has to be shifted on what you want instead. And gosh, we're getting into so many of the different aspects of the Academy, right? There's a lot of pieces, but I think today we were
And I just got a question about it, so maybe I should say it's you can join when you want. The modules, the whole program's already set up. You'll get a login credentials, and it's $97 a month. This is Lori's doing, so you can thank her because I'm used to contracts. It's a come in and go as you please. So if you're there for a month, 2, 3 months, and you're getting your stuff and you're working and you need a break and you want to take it, then you leave the Academy and then you come back when you're ready. So it's up to you what you want to do. And I think that that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori, for opening that expansion there.
Yeah, it's something, we have to navigate. This is the world that we live in, and our main purpose is, how do we help people find that? How do we take them on this adventure? And so we have to pivot. If that's the most important thing to us, we're going to pivot to make that happen. And this is a way to do that, because as you have pointed out many times, it's less than a cup of coffee. It's like a half a cup of coffee at a coffee shop, right? The
$23 a day for 30 days. That's it.
So it's make your coffee at home, get your transformation covered, and so it is, you're right, it is really beautiful and exciting. And so along with the course, just so you know, along with the 12 modules of the course, there's bi-weekly group coaching sessions where you get to bring your questions, how the integration is going for you. That's super important. We talked in the very beginning about, needing that infiltration of new perspective. We don't even have access to it, right? We don't know how to think differently sometimes. We don't know, why did I try this? And so we're there coaching people through their experience as they work through the modules. So
And
that's
last night's class, let
aspect.
me tell you, 2023 is off to a rocking good start. It was phenomenal, wasn't it? Those of you,
I love
phenomenal.
yes, I love the
Phenomenal.
replay, and those are recorded and sent to the members. So even if you're not there live is better because you get to interact and be in that energetic setting. But even if not, you can still ask your questions and have them addressed on the video so that you can get that support and guidance that's very important when you're doing this work.
Yeah.
Online programs that don't have that component are much less successful, and it makes sense, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our next event will be a free party that February 1st, we're going to have you guys sign up. It's for everyone, but
the party's the 18th though, so you can
yeah.
sign up starting on the 1st, but the party itself is the 18th.
And
what time is that, Mia?
It's at 11 a.m.
Pacific.
11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hold on a second, everyone. The reason we did this before, it's at 11 a.m. and then 2 Eastern. The reason we did this last year, and it was around this time in January, and it was the most phenomenal experience for people and for Laura and I. And we had prizes, and they were mailed to your homes, and it was really amazing. So we want to do this every year, and this time it was about celebration of about the feminine, but this time it's celebration, and we want to celebrate each person, and they're the only time to do it instead of every single 365 days a year. We can't have that many parties, so you're all included for your birthday.
It's your birthday party.
Your birthday party. I'm like, bring your drink with you and a cupcake if you want. It's gonna be fun. So this is all about you guys. Yeah, it'll be entertaining. There will be
Mia's gonna juggle.
I'm gonna
you're working on that, right?
That's right.
Okay.
My dog Sugar, we have an act coming. So all right, everybody. And then we also are creating a powerful online series through The Greatest You, where we're interviewing a bunch of different coaches. The title is Love is the Most Powerful Force on Earth and How to Bring It into Your Life. And so we get perspective on all these different coaches and their modalities. So you get to learn from that, and you get to do it at your own pace because it's an online event that you have the video that you can review and all that. So that's coming to you as well. We're just really excited.
Yeah. And remember, we get the ideas for the topics to cover and all of that from you guys. So definitely be interacting with us, letting us know what you need, a follow-up on a teaching that you've experienced. We also do some coaching on the love seat. We do some love seat coaching instead of, you've heard of being in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Well, this is the love seat. And so if you ever have a question, you want to work through it with us in a Tuesday space like this, for us to not only support you, but also so others can see how the integration goes. Reach out and let us know about that too, because that's something that
those were really great when we did
others.
that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So a nice mix of that provides just a lot of benefit and value for people, I think.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. This was great fun.
To see you. Congratulations again on spending this 45 minutes on important on your transformation, on this journey towards your greatest self. It was really beautiful to be here with you.
It was. I'm going to turn off the recording.